Hello again, boys and girls. This week we are going to complete another CK12 assignment. This one is called Finding the Mean Absolute Deviation, or also known as MAD. So what is the mean absolute deviation? Well, it's a data set's mean absolute deviation is the average distance of all data values from the mean of the set. Okay, I know that sounds like a mouthful there. A data set's mean absolute deviation is the average distance of all data values from the mean of the set. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is find the mean of the data set. And we've been doing a lot of practice with that. Remember, when you find the mean, you have to add all of them up in your data set and divide by the number in your data set. Then the second part, after you find the mean, is find the distance of each value in the set from that mean, and then find the average of those. So you are finding the mean twice. You're finding the original mean of the data set, and then you're going to find the mean after you find the distance. We're going to do one together, so hopefully that would make more sense once you see an example. All right, let's take a look. Paige's lacrosse team scored the following number of goals in the first 6 games of the season. So they've had 7, 6, 17, 8, 7, and 9 in the first 6 games. The first thing, remember, is we want to find the mean of this data set right here. So again, please feel free to use a calculator. To find the mean, we have to add them up. So we have 7 plus 6 is 13. Then plus 17 is 30. Then we have 30 plus 8 is 38. 38 plus 7 is 45. And then 45 plus 9 is 54. So 54 is the total when we add all of these up. Then remember, with the mean, we have to divide by the number in our data set. So 54 divided by, well, there's 6 in our data set, so 54 divided by 6 equals 9. So the mean number of goals scored in the first 6 games is 9. So that's step 1 in finding the mean absolute deviation. Now the second part. What is the distance? Now remember, we talked about distance with absolute value, right? Remember, absolute value is the distance a number is away from 0 on a number line. Well, we've talked about distance where it's a form of measurement. So it's always going to be a positive number. What I mean by that, remember, we're going to take the data value, the distance of each data value from the mean. Okay, so the mean was 9. So we have 9 minus 7 is 2. So I would want to make sure for the CK12 assignment, you have a calculator and also a piece of paper and a pencil. So, because you have to keep track of these distance here. So 9 minus 7 is 2. Then 9 minus 6 is 3. Then we have 9 minus 17. Well, that's going to give us a negative 8. But remember, we want to find the distance, so that's going to be always a positive number. So we're going to find the absolute value of negative 8. And we know the absolute value, it's always got to be positive. So the absolute value of negative 8 is 8. So we're going to add 8. You could think of it as doing 17 minus 8. I'm sorry, 17 minus 9. The 9 was the mean. So the next one, we have 9 minus 8, which is 1. Okay. Then we're going to have 9 minus 7, which is 2. And then we're going to have 9 minus 9, which is 0. Even though this came out to be 0, we got to include that in our data set. So what the total distance is 16 when you add the distance up from the mean. Now, So what is the distance of each data value from the mean? 16. Now we have to find the total distance of all the data points from the mean, which we did. And now the mean absolute deviation is the average of all these distances. Okay, so now we have to take the 16 and divide it by 6, because there was 6 in our data set. And that's going to give us actually a decimal, which should be 2.66. So the mean absolute deviation is 2.66, or if you round, 2.67. Now, well, what does the MAD tell us? Well, the MAD tells us the spread of our data. Okay, so the lower the MAD, the less spread out our data is. The higher number the MAD, mean absolute deviation, the more spread out our data is. So it's a way to keep track of our data. All right, let's go and take a look at the CK12 assignment. You're going to be finding the MAD. Again, please feel free to use a calculator. Okay, you're going to skip one of these interactives and I will let you know. It's going to be the last one. Okay, so feel free to go back and watch my video again to make sure you understand how to find the MAD. So this, this kind of walks you through it. Take a look at this data set. And you're going to have to, it's going to walk you through finding the MAD. You have to first find the mean. And then you're going to find the distance. Well, here, after you find the mean, kind of already gives it to you, is 5. You're going to find the distance. So 5 minus 1, 5 minus 2, 5 minus 3, and so on. Just remember, it's always going to be a positive number when you find that distance, because distance is a form of measurement. All right, so for example, 5 minus 1 is 4. 5 minus 2 is 3, and if it lights up green, that means you're correct. 5 minus 3 is 2. 5 minus 4 is 1. 5 minus 5 is 0. We still got to record that and include that in our data set. 5 minus 6 is negative 1, but it's a distance, all right? Distance from the mean, so we want to make it positive. So think of absolute value of negative 1 is going to be 1. And then we have 5 minus 8, which is negative 3. Absolute value negative 3. Whoops, I'm sorry, I was looking at the wrong one. 5 minus 7 is negative 2. Absolute value of negative 2 is 2. And so on. I'll just finish these last two out. And then 5 minus 8 is negative 3. Absolute value of negative 3 is 3. And then 5 minus 9 is negative 4. Absolute value of negative 4 is 4. Okay? And then from there, you're just going to read through this. Remember that distance always positive. So in calculating MAD, your distances should never be negative, what I just talked about. All right? And then you're going to continue on and calculate the MAD, find the mean absolute deviation. Okay? Here's another one right here. This one deals with decimals. Again, please feel free to use a calculator. And you're also probably going to want to have a piece of paper and pencil so you can write down the distance so you don't lose track. Okay, and answer these questions. This one here, engineering a catapult, you guys can skip this one right here. You do not have to do this one. Engineering a catapult, so it's the last interactive, you do not have to complete. Okay, but please take a minute or so to read through, remember this, a quick review, okay, of MAD. And then you're going to view practice. And remember, when you're finished, you got to get 10 questions complete in order to be done. Once you get 10 done, you could stop. It'll say if you want to keep going. You don't have to, you can stop. But the key is remember to hit the turn in button on top. It'll be in yellow. Okay, so some of these questions are review. All right, what is the mode? Right, we've done enough with mode that you know that's the most frequent. Okay, and you're going to go ahead and answer the 10 questions. I'm just going to stop for now. Remember, when you get to the questions, if you only get 5 done and you have to stop for a few minutes, or maybe it's time for dinner, you can stop, and this part will pick up where you left off. Where remember, the interactives, you have to remember where you stopped and just pick up where you left off. That will not save. Okay? Any questions? Feel free to email me. I do not have my help session on Tuesday. I do not have my help session on Tuesday. I'll have a help session on Thursday at 10:30. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, email me, and we can always set up a quick Google Meet to make sure you guys are all set. Because this is, takes a little bit of work to find the math. But again, feel free to use a calculator. Okay? I'll talk to you guys soon. Miss you guys. Keep working hard. I'm proud of you.